Right then, lads. I hope this isn't too shaky for you, but today this is sort of to help a lot of people, mainly young drivers, but anyone really. I'm out just having a little drive, and I thought, well, a lot of people keep asking me, how did you get insured on a Fiesta ST at 18? And I've got no claims. Like I said, I've got years experience. I was a named driver basically on a policy for a year on my old EcoBoost, so no claims. But my insurance on this, and I don't mind discussing the figures, it was £1,750 and some pence as well, and that was standard with 7,000 miles a year, which I'll probably do more than, but we'll get into that. 7,000 miles a year. What else did I have? My dash cam. I've got a dash cam in the car. No mod. That was my mods I'll declare. I'll get to that. And this was with Elephant, who's in the Admiral group. Now Admiral, they're a company, insurance provider in the UK. They have their own website. Try not to go through the comparison sites. However, I did get my quote from Confused.com. Now, a lot of people normally get the best quotes from CompareTheMarket.com, the Meerkat website. You're probably familiar with that. And the Confused.com always gives you higher quotes. Now, when I actually got my quote, my first tip, I'm going to do this in tips. I decided we'll do it in tips. So my tip number one for getting cheap insurance: always put less miles than you're going to do. I've got no black box, £1,750. My insurance was on my Fiesta ST for a year. So 7,000 miles I put down. Now last year I did 12,000. I put down 7,000. This year I leave college, so I'll be doing less miles anyway, just going to work and back, and then whatever it is at the weekend. Now I probably will do more than that. If I do, I'll call up halfway through the year and say, look, I'm coming close to my mileage, any chance I can add on an extra 2,000? And the fee will be a transfer fee and maybe £20–30 tops. But if I was to put down 10,000 miles now, say, the price would have gone right up. And that's just because they've got nothing to see for my driving. So when I've got 8 months behind me, say, and I haven't had a claim, they can see that I've got that 8 months experience. Therefore, they can offer me a cheaper price for those more miles. We're just gonna refocus the camera. So yeah, that's my tip number one. Always put less miles than you're going to do, unless you're getting a black box. Now a lot of my friends have black boxes, and their mileage has screwed them right over. So you've got to be really careful. If you're having no box, underdeclare the mileage, and then change it later on in the year when you're coming close to that mileage, because you never know, you might do less. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, have a dash cam. My dash cam on my insurance, I sell on Confused.com. On Confused.com they said, do you have a dash cam? I do. My dash cam cost me £20. It was the cheapest one I could find basically. It's 1080p. It works. I've got the volume turned off because I don't really want people listening to me singing and talking. But yeah, a dash cam. Now that is my own protection, because if you have a crash at 18, say, they can say, oh, you've only been driving for a year, you're inexperienced. The person could lie or anything, and they're like, he's inexperienced, he pulled out on me, it's his fault. And yeah, so now I've got a dash cam. If there's an accident and it's not my fault, I can prove that, and it's just a peace of mind. And also, I always turn my dash cam on when I'm not in the car. So if someone hits me when I'm parked, anything, if someone keys my car, I can see. That gives me a great peace of mind. So yeah, that's my tip number two for getting cheap insurance. Tip number three is to do with the internet side of things. Now, you're probably aware that Facebook, holiday websites, all sorts of websites use all these websites are all using cookies, which basically means they can track what you're doing on their website. Now, to make that simple, you're 16 C1, you've got for your first car. You're 17, they've got nothing. First quote, say £1,300 no bulk. That's a fairly good price for your insurance. 16 C1, cheap car. You're a lad, say. If you're a girl, it'll probably be more like 1,000. But for a boy, £1,300 no box. Now you're sat there thinking, I mean, a lot of my friends, they're paying that with boxes. So you're like, well, it doesn't seem too bad. But then you're not 17 yet, or you're not buying the car. So then you're checking again 2 months later, and the insurance has gone up. Now it's £1,600. It's gone up £300, and you've got no idea why. And that's purely just because their cookies have seen you've gone to their website, and it said, oh, this person's looking more seriously to get this car. Let's just bump their price up, because most people, they'll just pay that because they think it's just the risk has increased. No, it's the cookies. To get around this issue, you should go to a mobile cafe or something like that, you know, like library computer, do your insurance from there, because that wouldn't have been on the website before, or it wouldn't have had your details in before. Also, create a new email address. This could be a bit of a pain, because if they need to amend your policy, you might not get it. But I've got my new email address for my insurance transferred to my Gmail one. It's easy to do. You can set it up. It's not hard. So I've still got all my notifications to my insurer. But I did make a new email address, which made my quote down. Because when I was first doing Fiesta ST quotes, it was like £3,300. I was like, I can't afford that. I'm not paying that for insurance because I couldn't afford it. And I got it down to nearly half that, I think, or around half of that. So yeah, new email address. Go to a different location, because it's on your location as well, and do it with a different computer or phone or whatever. Just don't use the same thing when you're doing it. Use something you haven't used before, and you'll definitely see a drop with that. I helped the lad out the other day, just told him those 2 tips, and I think he was telling me his insurance provisional. A lad 17 who's got an ST, didn't realise what pain the insurance would be, and his insurance went down. His provisional insurance went down from like £1,100 to £400 just from doing that. Like, that's a massive tip. I might put a link to his Instagram here. This is the lad I'm just referring to. Absolutely cracking lad. You can speak to him about that if you want to see his experience. Right, yeah, so that's that tip. I think we're on number 3 now, aren't we? My next tip will be name drivers. A lot of people do this. Try it with and without. Always try it with and without, because if you don't, putting your parents on might make it more expensive. Just depends for the age of drivers having crashes in your area at your house. If there's lots of people age 50 having crashes and your dad's 50, you might be in the shit. For me, I had my parents on, and that made it cheaper. Both of them, my mum and my dad. They're both self-employed. They've got full no claims for life. So they're obviously really good people having your insurance, and it made it come down about £100, I think. So once you get your quote and you're ready to confirm it and carry on, you want to call up the provider. Now, for me, this didn't change the quote, but a lot of people it has. My friend Matt, when he called up, it went from like £1,100 to £1,000 per box, or something like that. And yeah, that's what he did, and it worked for him. It's worked for a lot of people. Didn't work for me. I called up and they were like, yeah, it's the best price we can do. And I was like, yeah, that's fair enough. They were £500 cheaper than the next cheapest quote I got, so I wasn't going to mess about. So yeah, always call up your insurance and say, look, you give me a quote, is there any way you can do a slightly better price on this, or have you got any discounts? I'm part of an owner's page, or anything like that. A lot of people will discount you for that. My next tip is going to be play around with the start date for the insurance. So on mine, I've heard that the cheapest time to start your insurance is 21 days. So you want to pay for your insurance 21 days before you take out the policy. Now, my friend Jack, he bought a new car yesterday. If he'd have had his insurance that day when he bought the car, it'd have been an extra £300 than if he started the insurance tomorrow. So he went home, saved £300, and he's picking the car up today. And that's just from looking at the start date. I think I started my insurance, I paid for it on the day, and I think it was about an extra £30–40, but I had to pick the car up from Devon, and I didn't want to insure a car before I'd actually even knew if I was going to get it or not. So that's what I did. Just like junction. Should we do a little scent? Oh yes. Okay, back up sensible. Right, yeah. So yeah, it's sort of insurance start date. If you can do it 21 days in advance, that'll be the best time. End of the month's better for the insurance as well. At the start of the month, it's always going to be harder because it's they're all trying to meet targets. So you want to be at the end of the month and they've already met their targets because they've overcharged people or they've got more money for insurance and they can do a better deal because they've met their target, hopefully. So yeah, that's another good tip. I keep my car in a garage every night. I'm lucky, my parents do have a garage, it's got electric doors, it's really secure, and I live out in the middle of nowhere. As you can see, I'm driving around country lanes, probably, I'm not really sure if you can see. But yeah, I live in the middle of nowhere, I'm not in a town, and my car's in the garage. It's really bumpy, let me slow down a bit. So yeah, my car stays in the garage every night. Now, obviously, ST3, they're really nickable cars, so having it in a garage, like, the insurance will love it, like, just is what it is. My mods, Elephant, they're really good. Anyone in the Admiral group, I'm pretty sure it's Elephant, there's one more, I can't remember what they're called. But if you call up Admiral, it says, or Elephant, it's like, oh, on the phone, they're like, oh, you're calling to Elephant, we're in the Admiral group with bloody blah, and they'll sort of tell you. So, yeah, that's that. And garage, my insurance came down a couple £100 from just putting my car in the garage, just because it's not on the road and it's not viewable by everyone. So, yeah, that's another really good tip if you can do that. Otherwise, do not lie to your insurance, because if you crash, they won't pay out. Insurance make money by not paying out. So if you give them a reason not to pay out, they won't pay out. You cannot lie. If you lie to insurance, you're going to get caught out and you're going to lose, because you'll still be covered third-party fire and theft. But if you're paying fully comp insurance, I could have insured this car for £900 third-party fire and theft, but I paid the extra £700 because I'm 17. No, I'm 18. If I crash my car, I'm screwed. I haven't got the money to fix it. I can't afford to lose like a £10,000 car. So just don't lie. Otherwise, there's no point paying for fully comp. Go third-party fire and theft. My mods are declared. My exhaust, I rang up, £20. They didn't want any. I've declared my wheels, my exhaust, and my camera. The camera was when I started the policy. The exhaust and the wheels, £20 each time. So that's an extra like £40. Some of my insurance is now like £1,800 a year because of the mods. But that's not it didn't increase the risk of the car. They just said, yeah, that's fine. You told us about your mods. It's just gonna be a £19.95 transfer fee, which basically just means because they have to post out new papers, which I think I've got on me. I don't know. I thought I was going to bin them. Apparently not. You should probably keep them in the car, because then if you get pulled over, you can just sort of, here they are. Here's my papers. Mods declared. Well, hey, no fuss at all there. But yeah, £20 each time to declare mods for Elephant, and they were I'm happy with that. They're really good for stuff like that. So no worries. I'm 18 and they've let me declare mods. That's brilliant. So yeah. I think we're coming to the end of it now. You just got to be really truthful. And I've got one more actually. I'm in education, but I have a part-time job. So put them both down. Put one down. You can mess about with it. You can even mess about with like what jobs your parents do. So like my dad, he's a company director. He owns his own removal company. Now I can put down company director. He's also a HGV driver for that company, his own company. So I can put, oh, he's a HGV driver. I could also put he's a transport manager, because he's also that. So it's like a bricklayer could be a builder, a bricklayer could be a site technician. Do you know what I mean? They're all basically the same jobs. I'm not sure if that's accurate because I'm not in that sort of trade, but like you can sort of play around with that and name your jobs different things. So like I could be a pot washer or kitchen porter, it's the same job. So yeah, just play around with that. Just got to pull over, let someone pass. Make sure you play around with that. Yeah, I'm at college, you've also got to say what you're doing there. I can only put down one subject, which is really annoying. So I take physics, history and product design. I put down history as my primary subject because that's one that I sort of focus on most, but I don't think it really makes a difference. They only wanted one of them, so I couldn't really say all three. And that was like the different, if I put product design and history was like £200 cheaper. Like, it's stupid things, but you honestly just got to keep trying on one email address, and then once you sort of find a configuration which sort of sits the best, wait until your actual quote, make a new email, and boom, get it done and sort it out. And that is how I've got my cheapest insurance on my Fiesta ST with no black box for £1,700. Well, £1,750 starting before I declared my mods. Like, personally, I think that's a brilliant price for my age, and I hope this video helps you all. This should appeal to a lot of people, this video. Hopefully you can all get some good quotes. If you do, drop me a message down at CWBTV on Instagram, put it down in the corner. I love hearing from people on there. Like, if my videos have like given them good advice, a lot of people do come like say stuff to me there. So I'm glad that everyone's enjoying that. We've also got 350 subscribers now. Like, imagine that. Like 2 weeks ago, on like, I think we just hit 300. So like 50 subscribers in like a week or two is amazing. Like, I'm so like, cheers lads, it's fucking incredible. And I've got loads of sick content coming for you. I hope this video helps a lot of you out. And yeah, give us a follow on the Instagram. I'm trying to get to 2,500 followers. So if you can help me get there, that'd be brilliant. And I hope this video helps you out. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Well, I'll probably be talking about the first few mods of my car, which I've sort of just told you a few of them there. So yeah, I'll catch you in the next one, lads.